Here we go, week 5 in the ELF. We're going to start to see some separation between teams that are all in the middle, sitting at 2-2. What team do I have that can possibly get the biggest win of the weekend? And what in the world is going on in Stuttgart? Week 5, let's talk about it.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. Hit street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the latest episode of Base Coverage, presented to you by Knoah Teamwear. I'm your host, Jamal Clay, and we have a special week ahead of us. We head into week 5 of the ELF. We're almost at the halfway point. As I said earlier, this is the week where a lot of those teams that are in the middle in the standings are going to start to separate. We have some good matchups this week. A lot of things happen during the week. One of the biggest things is, some news coming out of Stuttgart. Whenever you lose, number your imports within 2 days, it's definitely not a good look. I'm interested to see and follow how this organization is going to operate going forward. Obviously, there's something going on there. So we'll take a look. Is it time for, Jakob Johnson to get involved and maybe make some decisions that's going to affect the organization to, help this team, be competitive and be able to help with, recruiting going forward? We'll see. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We have 2 special guest interviews coming today. First one we have is Kim Realini. He runs pro football in Switzerland. We'll talk a little bit about, the Helvetic Guards. And then the next one we have Mr. Landshark himself, tackling machine, AJ Wentland from the Leipzig Kings, coming by to talk some ball. So let's get to this interview by Kim Realini right after this quick word from our partners over at Knoah Teamwear. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Today, our first interview is Mr. Kim Realini. He runs pro football in Switzerland, so he's going to be our inside guy. Talk a little bit about, the Swiss talent and the Helvetic Guards, who will be joining the team, who will be joining the ELF next year. So now I welcome you, Mr. Kim Realini. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. Fine. You looking forward to the interview. What about you?
Yeah, man. It's been it was interesting once the bomb was dropped that, the Helvetic Guards would be joining the league. I don't think that's something that anyone expected. I know, nothing I expected, and I played in Switzerland, and a lot of the people that I know in Switzerland was caught off guard too. But, it seems like it's been gaining a lot of steam going forward. You had the opportunity to talk with the organization, a couple weeks ago. What are some of the challenges you think they're going to face heading into the league next year?
I mean, the whole process seems to be a big challenge. I mean, I think it was quite a challenge to be approved by the ELF to get a Swiss franchise. Mm-hmm. What I've heard from the organization, this was quite a struggle. And going into the season, I'd say it's still not known where they're going to play. Yeah. I mean, with Switzerland, with the home stadium, it's still not known yet for the long-term strategy. But they said they want to play in whole of Switzerland because they think they are a team not only for a city like Zurich, they represent the whole country. So these are the challenges. And also, I'd say, will they get all the players they really want? I doubt that. I think 50 or 60% of the top tier guys will really go at the end. I know for a fact that not everyone from the Swiss national team and the top tier guys in NLA will join them. So this probably be a challenge as well.
Yeah, and let's talk a bit about the guys. A couple days ago, Commissioner Patrick Azume made a comment talking about how the guards are going to be an asset to the league, and I think they will too. Once they're able to get the ball rolling and get their feet under them a little bit. And some of the top talent in the ELF right now are from Switzerland, as Tim Haney from the Sea Devils, or Basil Weaver from the Galaxy, or Lucas Ross, who are on the Fire. Some of the top guys in the league come from the country of Switzerland. So what should people know about the Swiss talent of the guys that are playing in Switzerland now?
We have a lot of talented guys. Like you mentioned, the guys that are in the ELF. We have some guys that play in the GFL, and a lot of talent going on despite the small population of Switzerland. So there will be they will get a good team, I think, and they will be competitive. I think, for example, Istanbul, I know they struggle right now, but like they surprised everyone when they were like hanging to the last drive against Cologne the first game.
Yeah.
So I think the talent is there. Of course, there are some challenges, but I think that they try to be a competitive team. They have to. So and they achieved that with talented players, especially from their own country.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important for them to learn, from the new teams, that joined the league this year, like what's worked and what hasn't. So definitely out of all the teams that are joining, and we're still expecting one more, to join before we kick off 2023. The guards are probably the most interesting to see how they're going to maneuver. I mean, the team sits right in between, a great recruiting area with Italy and Germany and Austria and France.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think they'll be able to pull some of those talented guys back that are in the ELF, like a Tim or like a Basil or a Lucas Ross? Do you think they'll be able to pull some of those guys back and some of those guys that are maybe possibly playing in the GFL to join the Helvetic Guards and build the organization?
I think, like, for me, I don't know like what Tim, Lucas, and Basil really think, but if I was a Swiss player playing for a team in Germany or somewhere else, I think this is really intriguing to go back to Switzerland and have this opportunity to play for a ELF team in their own country. But I know also that like ELF players from Germany are really keen on the idea to play in Switzerland because Switzerland has a lot of perks. So I think this is also a factor you should keep in mind to get some good European players that already play in the ELF.
Yeah, it's going to be the recruiting for this team is going to be very intriguing. So I'm interested to see how that works out. In terms of for the team, right? Obviously, you got to hire a coach before you could start bringing in talent and stuff like that. If you were part of that organization, what type of guy are you looking to bring in? Are you looking to bring in someone who's had success in Switzerland or maybe has coached the national team, someone who may have had relationships with these guys already? Or are you searching for that right guy, maybe outside of Switzerland that can help lead this team?
That's a good question. I mean, yesterday the news broke that Coach Buffum of the Broncos will stay with the Broncos.
Yeah.
So there were talks there, obviously, probably. And this also tells you like in what direction they want to go. I think he would have been like a good candidate as a head coach. Now that he said he's going to stay with the Carolina Broncos in the NLA, I've heard some rumors about like NCAA Division I like coaches like trying to get to the next step of this head coaching gig. So I could really well, I could see that they are going to go for an American. Also with Don Clemens, who worked for the Detroit Lions, who probably has some relationships. I think as long as the coaching is like good, it doesn't really matter if it's like an American or European. But obviously, you want to. USA is like the football country #1, so why not go there?
Yeah, it's
at the end it will be at the end it will be a mix. I think there will be some Swiss coaches, but like for the head coaching, I could really well see American.
Yeah, I think someone that has a strong background with not just coaching, but building the team up too is going to be huge for them. So, well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on. So we got for today. Real last quick question in terms of watching from afar. I know you had the opportunity to go to some ELF games. What are your thoughts on the league?
I love the ELF. I think that's kind of like a bit of war between like the domestic leagues and the ELF because they take place. But to be honest, like for football in general, it's great. In football, it's still not a big sport in Europe compared to other sports. So for the masses that are not too familiar with football, it's the best thing that could have happened because like it gets also people involved that didn't really know about football. So for the sport, it's amazing. And also like from the game point of view, I really like the new kickoff rule. Like that's unique. That's unique, and I like kickoff and special teams and everything, but like the most interest happen on kickoff. So why not trying to avoid that with like new inventions? So I really like that. I think, but I also like, and what's kind of unique about the ELF compared to other European leagues, especially at the beginning of the season, similar to the NFL, you don't really know how good are the teams. Like Istanbul can like be in a close game with Cologne, and then they lose the next one, and then you have a surprise upset win. And with domestic leagues, it kind of like the picture of the good teams like is like you really see which are the good teams, which are the bad teams, really at the beginning of the season. And with the ELF, there's like the level of play is like really good, and they're close together.
Yeah, it's it's still a work in progress to make sure that the league stays competitive. But it's been good so far. And then, like I said, I agree with you. Like the ELF has been, great for the ELF. Maybe not so much for all of Europe, but ultimately, this is the league that everyone thinks could possibly be what NFL Europe used to be. So if that's the case, obviously there's going to be some, there's going to be some pros and cons to it as well. But hey, I appreciate it. Hey, before I'll let you go, we actually during our pick segment last week, we actually tied. So
that's good.
We had some good I'll put the graphic up on the screen, but we actually had the same record. So because we had
Cologne disappointed me.
You said Cologne?
Cologne. Like
I don't think anybody expected that though.
Yeah.
Not that type of blowout. I don't think anybody expected, but we'll see how they bounce back this weekend versus Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Much. This won't be the last time. This won't be the last time we chop it up, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Today we have one of our guests joining the show, linebacker for the Leipzig Kings, who's also a Knoah ambassador as our partners onto the show. We have tackling machine, Mr. AJ Wentland. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Hey, you're kind of a beast out there right now. I mean, league leader in tacklers with 56, 2 sacks, 6.5 for loss. Kind of leading the league right now as we head into week 5. What's it been like playing in the ELF? Is it different from, at least from your perspective, any of the other leagues you played in? I know you played in Germany and Finland and Austria.
Yeah. Playing in the ELF, it's a lot of fun. The competition is there. I mean, it's good football. It seems like every team is pretty well balanced, and like I said, the competition is fairly even. Every game can kind of go either way. Similar to the NFL in that aspect, anybody can win any given Saturday or Sunday. As for us as Kings, we know that we can win any game.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the difference, because when I played in the GFL, there's some teams that are very, very good and some teams that are a little bit, not as good. And obviously there is a little bit of a difference as well in the ELF. It's going to happen in every league. But for the most part, those top teams and mid-level teams, you never know what could happen. We played Hamburg a couple weeks ago, and we were in the game the whole way. And if you look at the skeptics who were on the sideline watching, they might have said, "Oh, it's going to be a blowout" or whatever. But we're in the game no matter what, and I feel like every week we have a shot to win, and we know that. You've kind of seen that throughout the season already, that there's going to be some surprises. Teams that are supposed to win may not win. And that's kind of been what I've noticed, is that it's just very even. It's a very even level of play, but it's very competitive. And I like the league. I like what they do. The media exposure, everything is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a high level of play, and I enjoy that. And that's why I wanted to join the ELF, is I want to play at the highest level that I can.
Exactly.
And like you said, playing on this defense is a lot of fun.
Hey, so speaking about your defense a little bit, it seems like obviously you guys have a strong core of guys, right? And it seems like each week it's fun watching you guys, but you also have been, getting better and better. Like the last 2 weeks between the two teams you played, you guys are giving up, 14.5 points.
Exactly.
That alone just shows like how dominant you guys can be, and it's been contributing. And we've been seeing, things start to roll your way for the Kings.
Right.
But let's talk about Berlin a little bit. Let's talk some ball. So congrats, you got the first win of the season versus Berlin, a close one, 19-15 score. What did that feel like? How that changed the morale of the team?
I think that, it's obviously a positive thing to anytime that you can win. And I always try to harp to the local guys, the German guys, that it's never easy to win. You got to earn it every week. It's never easy. I've been on a lot of winning teams throughout my career, throughout my life, and it's never been easy to win no matter what. Even if you're 10-0, it's going to be tough to get to that 11th game. If you're 0-10, it's going to be tough to get that first one. But I always say it is tough to get the first. It's always the hardest getting the first one, getting that ball rolling. And it felt good to finally get that first one. And as you said, playing on the defense, we talked about it all week. We got to score on defense. We got to get more takeaways. We can't blame anybody else but ourselves. We got to play better. If the offense scores 10 points, we got to hold them to 9 points, and that's how we win the game. So, like you said, we got the job done against Berlin and felt good. And now we're, got some momentum going into this next week. Playing Stuttgart, and we're looking forward to put another one up, and then continue digging ourselves out of this hole, and keep working, getting into playoff contention.
Hey, when I look at your defense and the personnel of your defense, the 3-4 fits you guys perfect. Especially with guys like JP and Mike, who you could put on the edge and come off in a pass rush scheme. And then obviously you got your three monsters in the middle. For you personally, how do you like playing in the 3-4?
I love it. I mean, when I was in Germany, I also played in the 3-4. When I was in college, I played in a 4-3. So I kind of got to see a few different schemes through my career. And we also have some sub packages that we can do with our defense. I won't get too much into it, but we also move guys around a little bit. And that's really nice having guys like Mike and JP and Aslan and Lance and all the guys in the back half, William James, that we can move guys around. We can move guys into different positions and kind of get into different packages depending on what we'll see or whatever the offense is running schematically, that we can kind of match up and put our guys in the best position. But it's been great playing on this defense. Like I said, I pride myself on having a good defense and trying to lead those guys, but it makes it easy when you got a bunch of monsters around you that are just flying around. That makes you free when you got 3 monsters up front. Lance, Leota, Aslan. Those guys just plugging up holes. We got some really good local Germans that are also playing really well. And you can just scrape and play and get to the ball. And as you referred to earlier, getting a bunch of tackles, that's great. But, I just want to do my job, get the win and just run into the ball. You're going to make plays. So any young linebackers watching this, you just got to show effort every play, go 100%, run to the ball. You'll make a bunch of plays. So that's all you really got to do.
Yeah. When I look at your game too, for you personally, like, no matter what system you're in, you're a 3-down back. You're a guy that runs sideline to sideline, and obviously that shows in your play. One of the strong points about like your defense for the Kings is how you guys are on third down. In 4 games, did you know you guys are 15? You're holding offense 15 for 47. That's about 31% on third down, the money down position. So so. When you're that good and you guys are that strong on third down, you're getting guys off the field. Like for you or for your defense, what's your mindset once you get to third down? Obviously, you guys scheme wise, there's something there, but for your mindset, what's your mindset when you guys get to third down going into these games?
Yeah, just get off the field, get the ball back to our offense. I love the way that everybody's mentality has been on this defense, because sometimes we give up big plays. Everybody does. But it seems like we give up a big play. It's like the next play, you better watch out, because it seems like we just strap up and we hit them in the mouth. We get punched in the mouth, we give it right back. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about the defense. Nobody hangs their head. You give up a big play and we're right back out. Say we do give up 6 points. We get back out on the field and it's like, that offense better watch out, because we get like 4 or 5 TFLs in a row and all right, ball's back to our offense. If it almost fires us up a little bit, you know what I mean? So Just having that mentality of no matter what, control what you can control and play hard no matter what. Once we get second and long, we're pinning our ears back. Once we get third down, no matter what, third and short, we want to plug up our gaps, just do our job. And that's what Coach Kent's been preaching to us this entire time. And that's also been great having a guy like Coach Kent. Coach Kent's been around for so long, talking to him, he's a football genius. And I love talking to that guy because he's been in a CFL, NFL Europe. He's been in the NFL. He's been all over the place working with different universities. His whole life has been football. So talking with Coach Kent, it's really great. Just learning his terminology, his schemes, things like that, and what he wants to run on defense. It's been really, really cool working with Coach Kent. So working with a guy like that, you just want to take as much knowledge as you can from him. Because he's the same way. Once it's third down, I won't get it too much into the schematics, but he's not afraid to give them a lot of pressure.
He's a lunatic. That's what he is. He's a lunatic on third down.
Yeah, we'll go zero. Blitz him, and he's not afraid to show it. You watch the film, we're going, what I mean? And that's what he tells us. He's like, they don't got enough guys to block us, so you just run your butt off and run to your gap, and they can't. Somebody's going to come free, so be ready,
Yeah, and that person that does come free is always making a play, and obviously that shows, what you guys how you guys been playing and stuff like that.
Exactly. I get fired up. I get fired up just talking about it.
Hey, as we head into week 5, your next opponent, the Stuttgart Surge. Obviously, there's been a lot that happened this week with that organization. Whenever you lose 4 imports in a day, that's obviously that's not what you want. Not that it's anything against you guys, but as we head into this game, when you guys play them, from a schematic standpoint, at least on offense, what are some challenges they face, they present for you guys?
Well, obviously, like you said, they're gonna have some different personnel in there now.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Watching their film, I thought their guys were actually doing pretty well. They moved the ball really well. They actually had a pretty efficient offense.
Their vertical game was the vertical passing game was helping them. So that's why I was curious to, obviously with everything, that's happening, I'm curious to see, is that still going to be the mentality going forward, at least from what we've seen on film. But yeah, my fault. So for you personally, like in terms of them offensively, what's offensive schematics on them that they present for you guys?
Right. Like you said, they got a lot of good athletes on the perimeter. They had some good running backs. They have good wide receivers. That's some of their best players are their wide receivers. Number 17, number 18, number 13, 3 really solid wide receivers. They bring number 25 in, Barnes. He's a sub-package player. He's got a lot of speed. He runs down the field.
Yeah.
Like you said, they spread the ball out pretty well, but they also have a good run game. So I kept telling the guys, do not sleep on these guys. It does not matter that they're 0-4. They're hungry for their first win.
Yep.
They have good athletes. They like I said, they're one of the better offenses that I've scouted. I do a scouting report every week as well. The coaches do as well. And like you said, they present a very talented offense, a group of athletes that are hungry to win. And they can, if you're sleeping, they will rack up some points on you. So I expect them to still run a lot of the same scheme that they were running. They run a lot of inside zone, power, things like that. Maybe with the new quarterback, they'll run a little bit more read option, maybe a little bit more speed option with it. And it seems like every team that we've been playing, teams have been bringing a little bit more 2-back sets just to get a little extra protection and to, we have a lot of speed on defense. So guys want to run right at us, because they don't think that they can run perimeter game as well because we got the speed to cut it off.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we'll get what we can, run right at them, and we'll run that 30 plays in a row. And maybe every once in a while we'll break one and trust our defense to stop their offense. So it seems like that's what teams are kind of falling into coming in, playing against us. So I expect to see a little bit of 2-back. And that's what we were expecting to see with David Menza. I thought he was going to be the sniffer playing that H-back, kind of similar to what they did with Roclaw. But obviously, like you said, there's a lot of new personnel coming in now. Yeah. So we'll just have to see what they end up coming and doing. But obviously, the coaches are the same. So we're going to see a lot of the same bread and butter plays as that's what I like to refer to it as. They're still going to run the same basic passing concepts. They like getting the ball on the perimeter, putting their backs in, swing concepts, swing screens, running back screens, bubble screens, things like that. Just getting their athlete the ball on the perimeter. They're going to keep doing that. They're going to stick to their basic run game, running power out of shotgun, getting the pistol with the 2-backs, run some lead. Inside zone, like I said, with the quarterback, he might do some more sprint out concepts and a little bit more read option, things like that. Just watching some of his college tape, he's a little bit more athletic, but he'll stand in the pocket and throw. So, yeah, we'll be ready for whatever we got. And I trust the coaches and the coaching staff. Coach Kent, he's a genius. Like I said, he's gonna put us in the right spot.
Most definitely. So yeah, that game is gonna be interesting to see what the new surge looks like. But obviously they're gonna have their hands full with such a great defense like the Kings. So building off Berlin last week, what do you guys have to do to start getting the ball rolling and heading in the right direction? Like I said, we're almost halfway through the season. It's still pretty early-ish, so to say. So there's still some ground that you guys can make up, especially within your conference. But how can you guys build off last week's win?
Yeah, we just got to take that momentum and go straight into the next one, and just keep building on the last one. Keep digging ourselves out of that hole. Keep getting one more. Just focus on 1 week at a time. Obviously the offense, needs to start scoring the ball a little bit, but obviously I can't speak for them. I'm on defense. We got to control what we can control, and that's getting takeaways, scoring on defense, being on special, making big plays on special teams, pinning them down, giving them bad field position on special teams, and just, eliminating any kind of mistakes, eliminating big plays on defense. And like I said earlier, if our offense scores 10 points, we got to hold them to 7 points, and that's what it is. So, whatever it takes, we're going to do defensively, and, just having trust in each other and faith in each other to get the job done. I do believe that this week's the week that our offense is going to, put it together. We have too many athletes on that side of the ball, on the perimeter, and going against them in practice, they do it on us all the time. So I'm like, hey, you guys got to just trust each other, trust yourselves, and just put it together in the game. And once they do that, I really feel like we're going to be a very, very tough team to beat, even tougher than what we already are.
Yeah. You guys definitely got some dogs on the offense, and we're gonna be watching. Hopefully, you guys get that rolling now, and be able to bounce and play off each other. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show. Good luck this weekend versus Surge. We had that's AJ Wentland, linebacker for the Leipzig Kings. Also, Knoah ambassador. You can also check out his signature shirt, the Landshark. The Landshark shirt by Knoah. The link will be in the description. Here's a picture now, so you guys can take a look at it. AJ, I appreciate you, brother. This definitely won't be the last time we chop some things up. But good luck this weekend, and we'll talk soon, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamal.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Let's get down to week 5 and break down some games. First game we got Berlin Thunder versus the Cologne Centurions. Cologne Centurions desperately, and I say desperately because they need to bounce back from last week's victory to show that last week was just a fluke. Obviously, you lose a close game to Barcelona, and then Frankfurt comes in and gives you that type of losses. It's not what you want. Even Jan Vainreich had even mentioned it was a little bit of a humbling experience, but Cologne still has the guys to compete and push for a playoff spot this week versus Berlin. If Berlin can find a way to stay balanced and keep Cologne on their toes like Frankfurt did, I think they have a chance. But I think ultimately Cologne has too many weapons, especially at the receiver position. I can see this getting into a high-scoring game, and then Berlin trying to play matchup. If that happens, I'm not sure Berlin has the scoring ability to keep up with Cologne. So for this game, I am picking the Cologne Centurions to beat the Berlin Thunder. Next game we got. The Istanbul Rams travel to Barcelona to face the Dragons. There's not much to say here. Rams are, in a phase where they're making changes and trying to get things going. They just released Tyrese Johnson-Fisher. Dale Gunn has stepped down. So obviously there's some more changes to come. I think the Dragons are just too much. I think from a talent perspective, the Dragons win this one, no problem. The main thing I think I want to see from the Rams is a couple things: limit turnovers, play penalty free, and be able to score and feed off each other. Because they've had some big plays on defense and on special teams, but I want to see them get into better rhythm offensively. But like I said, I think the Dragons are a little too much. I have the Berlin Dragons winning this game versus the Rams. Next game, we got Rhein Fire versus the Hamburg Sea Devils. This is probably the most intriguing game this week. And I say this because both teams play very, very good defense. The Sea Devils offense has looked a little better each week, and the passing game has been getting a little better. Obviously, that offense still runs through Glenn Tunga. So we'll see what happens. And maybe this is the week Cisse could take, the next step and, start pushing the ball downfield as he was last week versus Russlov. The Rhein Fire coming off a tough loss against Barcelona. I think the one thing that killed them is obviously the special teams. I expect with that type of coaching staff, they'll be able to work and get those things fixed. I think one of the key matchups in this game is going to be Justin Rogers versus a guy like Nathaniel Robitaille, and then on the other side is going to be the battle between Omari Williams and Cisse. So definitely a good game to watch. I am picking the Sea Devils because I think Coach Ellison and that defensive front by the Sea Devils led by Kasim Edebali, who's the leader in sacks. I think they get after Matt Adams in that offensive line. But it's going to be a good matchup because that's a great offensive line versus a good defensive line. But I'm going to ride with the defense, who I think has a better defense in the Hamburg Sea Devils to win this game. Next game, we have Stuttgart Surge versus the Leipzig Kings. Surge are a little dysfunctional right now. Obviously, there's a lot going on, a lot of news that broke this weekend. Kings just bounced off their first win versus the Berlin Thunder, and that defense is going to be a little bit too powerful for the Surge. I think whenever you bring a new quarterback, it takes a little bit of time to build chemistry, get in the rhythm. So this one's a quick one. I think the Kings win their second game of the season, and they beat the Stuttgart Surge. Next game I got Frankfurt Galaxy versus the Raiders of Tyrol. So Raiders are starting to get into a little groove. Actually, both teams are starting to get into a little bit of groove with two back-to-back wins. It's a conference game, so this game even adds a little bit more pressure. It's the game of the week. Galaxy have an athletic back seven to match up with the Raiders passing game, which what they want to do is, work that middle of the field and take big shots once they seize the opportunity. Jacob Sullivan has been looking a lot better. He's looking more mid-season form since the injury. Galaxy defense showed that playing similar offenses, obviously like the Cologne, that they'll be able to compete, with the Raiders in this game. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be intriguing to watch Jacob Sullivan and Sean Shelton go head-to-head in this matchup. There's going to be some good quarterback play. My pick for this game, I'm going to pick the Raiders of Tyrol. I think one of the key difference makers in this game is Marco Schneider in the slot. I think he'll be able to find some mismatches in that defense and win some battles. So I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this game. Lastly, we have the Russlov Panthers versus the Vienna Vikings. I think the Panthers are going to win, and this may come in as a shock, but I'm going to tell you why. The Vikings offense is a very vertical passing offense. They like to throw the ball downfield and get the ball into their playmakers. And then the Panthers defense, which is a 3-3-5, I think this is going to be the first time the Vikings is going to face a back seven that has the ability to match up with them in their passing game, which will make things a little bit challenging. And it's going to be interesting to see Jackson Ehrman versus this Russlov Panthers secondary. So I think that the Russlov Panthers are going to be able to pull this one out. I think another week for new quarterback Slade Jarman to build chemistry with his guys is going to be crucial. Malik Stanley in the slot is going to be a mismatch for the Vikings on defense. And then, he's covered. You also got Mazan and Banat that was capable of making big plays too. But I think the main reason is because I think this defense, unlike any other team that the Vikings have played up until this point, I think this defense matches very well with the Vikings. And I'm going to pick the Russlov Panthers to upset the Vienna Vikings in Week 5. Let's get into some picks now. Last week, Week 4, we actually tied with our friend Kim from Pro Football in Switzerland. So what I'm going to do this week, depending on how things go, if Athlete Forum wins or ties again, regardless of a tie. I'm giving out some free gear because you guys deserve it, and it's been fun. It's been hard up until this point. We've had some great battles, but it's time to get back into the winning thing. So this week on the show, we have Mia from Touchdown Europe, who will be making picks today, and her picks we'll throw up on the screen now. She has Cologne beating the Berlin Thunder, Barcelona beating the Istanbul Rams, the Hamburg Sea Devils beating the Rhine Fire. So we're lockstep on those first three. She has the Vienna Vikings beating the Rostov Panthers, so we're going head-to-head there. She has the Frankfurt Galaxy beating the Raiders, so we're going head-to-head there. And she also has the Leipzig Kings beating the Stuttgart Surge. So these are the picks. So we'll see how this week turns out. Don't forget to follow Athletes Forum on Instagram. Follow Knoah Teamwear on Instagram. Enter your chance to win some free gear. We're definitely giving some out. I appreciate you guys joining the show. This is going to be a fabulous week. And we're going to see who's going to separate from the pack in week 5. But that's all we have for today. This won't be the last time we chop it up.
Hard work,